Hi, I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment here with my co-host Manny for a new episode concept that we're calling Media That Made Us Cringe. This particular concept will probably be a one-time miniseries. We'll see. Essentially, it's based on our 90s and naughties Cringe Factor series, but at least for what we'll be covering in this miniseries of episodes, it has a touch of that media that made us feel, for me anyway, but not in a good way. So it doesn't really belong in media that made us as like a live stream or anything like that. And I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute.
So I'm Manny, and for this Media That Made Us Cringe episode, we're going to be talking about, drumroll please, it was only a matter of time, Twilight. You know, the movie based on the famous and, let's be real, infamous book by Stephenie Meyer.
Yeah, it's so famous / infamous that I don't think we need to summarize what it's about. We would usually summarize our Cringe Factor movies because it's been a while usually since most people have seen them, but I don't think we need to do that here. But I do want to talk about the what, why, how of us knowing about and or experiencing it. I'm not sure, Manny, how much you knew about it beforehand, but for me, I heard about Twilight back in the day when I was on LiveJournal. And I had some LiveJournal only friends, and some of them are people I still stay in contact with. Some of my LiveJournal friends to this day. I've met quite a few of them in person, not a ton, but enough. I don't know. It's a really neat experience to have grown up in that era where you would literally meet people online in a forum, quote unquote, like that, and meet them in person maybe eventually. And even some of them that I haven't met in person, I'm still friends with on Facebook and stuff. But anyway, so one of my LiveJournal friends was obsessed with Twilight back in, it must have been like 2006, 2007. So by the time I knew about it, Breaking Dawn, which is the fourth and final book in the book series, had already been published. I might have read about it in this LiveJournal friends entries before that, but it didn't really like hit my radar. I mean, this person was very much, oh my God, Twilight. They were super obsessed with Edward. And this is before I was even into cosplay, but they were wanting to buy like the screen accurate clothes that Bella wore when the movie came out and stuff like that. Or maybe they were cosplaying book. Yeah, maybe they were only cosplaying Book Bella. It's been so long, I can't recall. It all kind of runs together. But anyway, I was at Costco one day, not long after reading some of this person's entries about like how obsessed they were with Twilight. And they had the whole 4-book series in hardcover on sale for like, I don't know, $30 or something, which for 4 hardcover books, that's a good price. Well, like I've been hearing so much about it. I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, I love to read. I'll buy this. I did not love to read these books. I read the first one and I was like, okay, well, that's only the first book. It has to get better, right? Then I read the second one. I think the second one was a little easier on me, but then, the beginning of it was terrible, but like then as it went on, it got a little easier. And then by the time I got to third book, I was like, no, this series is not getting any better, but I'm not a hard do not finish person, a DNF person, as they say. Like, yeah, I will pretty much finish everything I begin reading. I'm a completionist. It has to happen. It's been very rare. I could probably count on one hand the number of books I have DNF'd in my life. I totally understand why people are DNF people because I get it. Like our time is precious. I think maybe I'd be more likely to be a do not finish person nowadays if it was like a really long book and I was just like super not into it. But anyway, I finished the whole series and I just was like, what the fuck? Maybe I'm too old for this. And I don't mean that in like it's only for young people sort of way or anything, but I think I'd been through so much shitty relationship stuff in my like teenage years and then even college and after college. I want to say by the time I read these books, I was like 24 or 25. So I must have been 25 because I know I read them all at once. So yeah, if it came out in 2008, yeah, I was 25. But yeah, I just, here's the thing. What it did was it turned me off of all vampire media. I hadn't read, because Interview with the Vampire came out when I was young enough where like there's no way my parents were going to let me see it. And I hadn't read the book either. I think I eventually read Interview with the Vampire and saw the movie. Gosh, I don't know. It was after I got a Kindle. So it was after 2011. I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but even beyond that, I also was like, Interview with the Vampire. I also was like anti-Tom Cruise at that point. So that also kind of Interview with the Vampire in ways that maybe shouldn't have. Now that the show has come out, the show is amazing. the Interview with the Vampire Show is so much better than the movie, if you ask me. But anyway, so yeah, it turned me off of vampire stuff for a really, really long time. So that when things like True Blood and everything were really big, I was like, I ain't watching that shit. It's just some stupid, more vampire bullshit. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Twilight, reading it and just being so against the romance stuff in it, just really, it just really turned me off. Now, I did see all of the movies in theaters. However, what I would do is go with, I think the first time I went with my significant other at the time, but we did it facetiously, right? Like we weren't serious about it. I told him this is going to be bad, but I want it to be bad. So we snuck liquor into the theater and poured giant Cokes, poured some Coke out, poured like a little pint, whatever, the little bottles, like not a nipper, but like the little bottles of bourbon, you know. And then my sister and I went and saw the rest of them together, and we did the same thing. So basically, I got drunk while watching all of these movies in the theater.
You did it right. Yeah, you did it right.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with watching a bad movie if you're fucked up. That's okay.
Exactly. And I want to be very clear that we're going to be talking a lot of shit in this episode, but I think that we're both on the same page of you love what you love, and that is okay.
If that's what you like, by all means, I didn't spend any money on this movie. I didn't lose anything on it. You like what you like. If you love Twilight, then please, boo-boo, you just keep watching it and you keep reading it, and don't ever stop, and don't let anyone ever tell you that what you like is shit, okay? Because maybe it's shit to them, but it's gold to you. And believe me, there's a ton of movies that I love that people fucking hate, and I'm okay with that. So please, yes, I've been doing that lately with a lot of the Star Wars rants I've had with like my friends. I'm like, look, let me just start it with this. If you guys loved it, then please keep on loving it. I'm glad somebody enjoyed it. And that's what I'll say about the Twilight series, is that I'm glad that there were so many people that enjoyed it, that came together for it, and all that kind of stuff.
The one thing I will say, and the thing that I think concerned me the most at the time when I had been reading my live journal friends writing about the books, and then when I read the books, was I was seriously concerned about the glorification of what very much seems to be an abusive relationship.
Oh yeah.
And a very, very young abusive relationship, and also written by someone who is Mormon, and it was also very much abstinence porn. Those were my main concerns. So like, as much as I say, like, yes, love what you love, please enjoy what you enjoy, please also, anybody should recognize what may be potential or possibly very obvious flaws in the media that you are consuming. And now that I've said that, Manny, what about you? Do you have any sort of Twilight backstory?
So no, I do not. Right. So the only thing I knew about Twilight was that every time I walked into a Hot Topic, every t-shirt had fucking Edward's face on it. All right. So the one thing I said about this movie when I had watched it for the second time, I said, you know what it is that everyone in this movie, everyone has a very punchable face. There's something about everybody in this movie that I just don't like. Okay. Now, I'm not going to take a complete shit on it. Okay. I'm going to be as fair as possible as I can possibly be. Let's keep in mind not to age myself too much here, but when that first movie came out, I was 31 years old. I was way outside of somebody who would have been into it. I will say this though, 16-year-old man.
Well, let's be very clear. You're definitely way outside of like a femme person's interest in it, because there are a lot of Twilight moms out there. That's literally how 50 Shades of Grey happened.
Yeah, and that's fine. For me personally, I was way outside of that teen angst kind of thing that I just was not into that. Now, maybe if I would have watched it and I would have been much older when it came out, maybe I would have liked it. Maybe that would have been like, okay, those are like, maybe I was just in that gap to where I was like, this is kind of shitty. But yeah, so I saw Twilight merch everywhere all the time, all this stuff. And I got so tired of just seeing this dude's face everywhere. Now, I will say this. I was a huge fan of the Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. So I felt like there's some aspects in this movie that kind of have that same kind of feel, in particularly like that weird relationship kind of shit going on. That's why I say that like 16-year-old Manny probably would have really liked this, you know, and would have been into it. Guaranteed. I think knowing me, I probably would have been into it. Like, absolutely.
Maybe you and I were both just at some jaded point in our lives.
Yeah, I think we were, you know, I think a lot of it was just, I don't know, maybe it was just jealousy on my part. I didn't look like Edward. Girls weren't chasing me and drooling over me. It was just sad. And I was just like, I hate this because nobody likes me the way they like him. You know?
Like, I mean, it's unrealistic expectations on both the parts of Edward and Bella, honestly. We'll get into that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, aside from like the popularity of it, I really didn't look into it or anything like that. I just saw it as like, okay, this is just like a teeny bopper movie, like whatever. The kids love it. Great. And like, again, like how you had the kind of the same thing with like the vampire stuff. I didn't like Interview with a Vampire. Like I fucking hated hated it. Like the movie anyway. Maybe the show is better and I just never.
It is. It is.
Yeah. And I know that True Blood is really good. Even just from like clips and scenes that I've seen. I've never sat down to watch the show. It actually is really intriguing. But I had that same kind of thing back then with vampires as I do now with like zombie stuff. When I see zombie shit, I'm just like, nah, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it. Zero. It's just zombies to me are completely boring. And if it's not the zombies, then it's the social dynamic of the people surviving in the zombie shit. And I'm like, you know what? I'd have probably shot myself a long time ago in that universe and just been like, fuck it. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this shit. But yeah, so I didn't really have any, I didn't know it was a book before it was a movie. I thought it was just a movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of feel like this is when that popularity of that young adult book stuff started getting made into movies, because it was like this one, and then we had, what was the other one?
Soon after that was Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, you know, and then there was that other one that was really
Divergent.
bad. Like, Divergent, yeah. I saw the first one on that and I was like, I didn't like it, you know. I mean, I didn't like the first Hunger Games movie either. I thought the ending was just kind of insulting, and I was just like, I fucking hate this. But towards the end of the actual movies, I actually did enjoy them. Like, I think the last two movies.
Oh, I like Hunger Games a lot. And I've read the books too. Like I read the books before I saw the movies, but it was one of those, like, I knew the books existed and the movie was coming out. So I blew through all the books before the movie came out, the first movies. Shit, I lost what I was going to say. You mentioned Hunger Games and it like got me off on like a Hunger Games thought train, and oh no, it's a train.
It's a train. Toot toot.
Toot toot. It's the Hunger Games train. That's what the movies we're talking about.
I totally forgot to bring that up too during our State of the Saga, was that I found when we went trunk or treating or whatever, there was an actual train store there. I went into the train store and it was all these model trains like when I was a kid, and all these like super expensive ones, and I was like, oh my God, I've seen the top of the mountain and it is good. And then a train came by 20 minutes later and I have video of the train coming. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best day ever.
You need to send me that video so we can put it on the Geek Saga.
I will.
Oh my gosh, we're getting off topic.
Okay, off topic.
Yeah, there was something you said that I was like, oh, I have a thing to say about this, and now I've just totally fucking lost it. Maybe an hour from now I'll remember.
Yeah, you'll remember it and you can just clip it back in.
Well, okay. So anyway, we're going to begin our discussion for this episode with our usual cringe factor list of 10 things we hate about this movie. When we're done with that list, we're going to pull from our media that made us format to talk about bling sites, aka any personal insights that we gleaned from watching Twilight. And it's called bling sites because, well, I heard some Twilight fans refer to the vampires in the series as the blings, and I find that amusing. And also, it's like ring sites with the Lord of the Rings media.
Lord of the Rings, yeah. Bling sites.
We're also going to rate it at the end on a cringe factor scale of 1 to 10 spark dulls. I didn't want to say Zach Morris's, because Zach Morris's, these are technically 90s and naughties movies in that the first two came out in 2008 and 2009. But for this particular series, Zach Morris didn't really fit. And Manny suggested sparkles. And I said, but that sounds, I'm thinking that sounds too positive. Spark dulls.
Spark dolls. Yes.
I'm so clever. This is not the best. Can you even call it a pun? This is not the best thing I've ever come up with, but it's what I came up with. So yes, we will rate it on a cringe factor scale of 1 to 10 spark dolls before concluding with our watch or read or play, please, anything but this suggestion for the episode. Before we get started, you can follow me and therefore all of the Geek Saga endeavors at Geek Saga on Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, or YouTube.
Oh man. And you can find me as always on Facebook and Instagram at Manissimo Art.
Just a couple other quick house cleaning items before we dig in. If you're listening to this as a podcast somewhere, anywhere, please hit those like and or subscribe buttons, and also make sure you rate us if you are able to rate us, especially on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We just very, very much appreciate it if you could take that moment to mark us 5 stars, the Geek Saga Podcast, 5 stars wherever you're listening. And last but hopefully not least, we hope that you'll check out the Geek Saga Entertainment Patreon. We have a lot of tiers with just $3 per month, getting you the most prevalent perk of early access to podcast episodes. And you can find us at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.
And now it's time for the 10 things we hated about this movie. First up is
the Bella obsession.
Oh,
okay, guys,
God.
I'm sorry, but like, this is not me saying anything bad about Bella in the books or Kristen Stewart or anything like that. This is just me saying this makes no sense. This kid, Eric, immediately as she walks up to the school, approaches her and's like, we're going to do a school newspaper feature on you because she's the new kid. And like, what?
Yeah, like how small is this town?
I went to a school that at most the entire time I was there had about 550 students. And like, yes, new kids were kind of a big thing, but the school newspaper wasn't doing features on them. That would never be a consideration. And also, that's weird as fuck no matter how small your school is. I love also how Angela takes a picture of Bella and she's like, I needed a candid for the feature. And Eric's like, the feature's dead, Angela. Don't ever mention it again. And it was like, whoa, dude, a little too hardcore. Like, girl didn't know. And then later, the same kid, Eric, asks Bella for her playlist because he needs help choosing music for, I don't know, like prom or something. Like, are you asking every kid in the school for their playlist or just Bella? Because she's the new kid. The newspaper feature was killed, but you need her playlist? Like, also, you don't know this person. Even at that point, they didn't know each other hardly at all. I'm not sharing my playlist with people I don't know at all. I mean, at least not back then. I mean, now I think Spotify, if you have an account and they're public, kind of anyone can see them. But
anyone can see it, yeah.
But yeah, back then, hell no. Then there was like the random guy in the diner who played Santa one year when she was like 4.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Her dad is like, yeah, she hasn't been here for Christmas. And she was like a baby.
Yeah, you were 4 and I was also behind a costume. Do you remember who I am? No, dude.
The same scene, the waitress who, as far as we know, maybe Bella goes there once a year. I think in the books it's a little more clear, but I can't remember the timing of it. As far as we know, she hasn't seen Bella in years, and she's like remembering her fave dessert, the berry cobbler. Like, why is everyone so obsessed with Bella?
Yeah, I have
like, I know this town
idea.
is small and I know she's new, but come on. Come on. And maybe it's because her dad is kind of like a person of interest, like he's the chief of police. I guess in that respect, I understand it a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I get the small town stuff, but yeah, everyone remembering like who she is from like back in the day or whatever, and she was like a kid, really is kind of weird. It's like you guys didn't have anything better else to do for the past 20 years or whatever, you know, however old she is. Come on, guys. It's definitely weird. I did like the fact that when she went to high school that she was able to make friends really quickly and everybody was really eager to like get to know her. You know, my high school experience was very different because it was very isolated. There was so many people that you just got lost in the crowd. No one was gonna come out to make an attempt. That would have been the high school experience that I would have dreamed of, honestly. To where like, oh shit, people are coming out and they're talking to me and they're like, hey, come sit with us. And no, bro, I literally sat, I mean, not in high school because I never went into the cafeteria in high school because we had like an off-campus lunch where you can leave campus. I literally sat in the bushes and ate my food real quick and then cigarettes when nobody was looking, you know, and like that was it, you know. And I was like, that was my high school experience.
I mean, I went to a really small high school, and because I lived in that town my entire life, I went to that same school system my entire life. It was almost worse for me because I was such a nerdy kid. Not that I'm not still like a huge geek, but like back then I was like, I also looked the part far more than I do now, and or really even far more than I did by like sophomore year of high school. And so like even when I got contacts and grew out my hair and started wearing like cuter clothes, it was like, oh, that's still Tara, the weird nerdy person. I mean, we had new kids come in once in a while, and it was like sometimes they became the cool kids, but it was usually because they were hot. This is not like saying Bella's not hot or whatever, but in the books, she's not really, she's kind of frumpy. In the movies, Kristen Stewart, she's cute as fuck. In the books, I think she's described as she's cute, but she's wearing like a khaki skirt and like a baggy sweater at one point. Are you also wearing like mule sandals? Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all super fucking obsessed with her, and it's too much. It's unrealistic.
I mean, you know, but I'm not gonna lie, I would have been into her in my teenage years. That would have been the kind of girl I would have chased after, you know, a quiet, angsty type. I'd have been like, yeah, she hates everything. She's not gonna hate me.
Yeah, I think the weird part about it in this series is that the boys, like the popular boys that would not, I mean, it's just like everybody is the Looney Tunes eyeballs. Woo! About her, and it's like I'm not saying she's not attractive, but it's a fantasy written by somebody who I mean, I don't know what Stephenie Meyer was like when she was younger, so I'm not going to say anything bad about her, but it seems like a self-insert fantasy.
It does, but that fantasy with, in particular with the high school, I can like roll with because it wasn't like, oh, these are the jocks. We're not talking to you because you're the quiet nerd type. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, it was a small school. Everybody was talking to each other. I feel like they kind of got rid of that high school stereotype with that. So I'll at least give her that. I mean, I think I'm going to chalk it up to lazy writing, but at least, you know, it was like enjoyable.
Yeah, but it just gets a little weird. Why is there a feature in the school newspaper? Why is Santa Claus from when she was 4? That was weird. And like, why did this waitress who hasn't seen her in a bajillion years remember her favorite dessert? I get it, it's a small town, but how do you guys remember this stuff?
Yeah, I would never remember it. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast. All right, for number 2, we have the Cullens. They're all like together.
Seriously. The quote is, I think it's from Jessica, they live together. That's weird. In the book, it sounds like it's way more focused on shaming them for possibly having sex, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Like I've only read the books once. It's been a while, but I did some extraneous like research on this to make sure I was remembering things correctly. And there are a lot of people out there who even still are like fans, but recognize the flaws type of situation that seem to say like, yes, the lines in the books are way more focused on the possible like sex shaming of it. But also, even in the movie, they're focusing on the fact that they're all stepchildren together, like they live together, yet 4 of the 5, 2 of them are in a relationship, 2 of them are in a relationship. And yeah, sorry, not sorry, that's weird as fuck.
Yep.
I was watching Sanditon, and there's a stepbrother and stepsister in there that are like super obsessed and in love, maybe more obsessed with each other than in love with each other. But like, obviously in Jane Austen world, that was even more weird maybe than it is now. But I don't know, that's fucking weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I feel like going to all of them living together, it makes sense in like strength in numbers kind of thing. I get it. So, you want to stay together so that way, you're not going to be left by yourself because they decided to live in a town where there's werewolves also. Maybe they have some kind of pact with each other, but they clearly don't like each other. And that's eventually just going to blow up. It doesn't make any sense to me. Again, I think this is just the writing part that bothers me. But then also you get to see a glimpse of them all in their house in the movie. And this is where the writing really just gets kind of cookie cutter to where it's like, okay, here we go. We have, boom, you're the angry one. You're the cute, quiet little pixie one. You're the daddy figure. You're the responsible mom type. I mean, come on, bro.
And we don't get as much of their backstories in the movies, but for those of you, including you, who have not read the books, just to give a little like the backstory situation. So Carlisle, dad figure, now he only turns people when they're on the verge of dying. So he wasn't turning people into vampires willy-nilly, but he turned Rosalie into a vampire because he thought that he could match her with Edward because he was worried that Edward was lonely. I think he might have turned Esme first. I think there's a weird story where like Esme actually knew Carlisle IRL when they were human or something, or maybe, I don't know, or maybe she was human and he wasn't, but she knew him when she was young and then she ended up almost dying. So he turned her and she was like already in love with him. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but weird. And then Carlisle turned Rosalie, who was again, about to die anyway, and expected her to be like Edward's partner, but then they were like, hell, or Edward especially was like, nah, not into it.
Yeah.
And then Rosalie found Emmett dying and brought him to Carlisle. And so that's fine, whatever. And then Jasper, who's Alice's boyfriend, was already a vampire. And Alice, she can see the future. And she had a vision of hers and Jasper's future. But that's fucking weird as hell because like she didn't know Jasper at all, as far as I know. And again, like some Twilight fan might listen to this and be like, you're wrong. She somehow had met Jasper before and that's how she knew. But whatever. So she brought Jasper into the family. But at the same time, it's like Carlisle is like collecting a whole bunch of, 17-year-olds ish who were 17 to 19-year-olds, let's say, who he turned or were turned into vampires. And then they're all just like living in the same house. And it's weird. And they're all, again, if you don't know they're vampires, which these kids in the high school don't, it's fucking weird. They're all this guy's stepchildren and like 2 and 2 are paired off in relationships. Why weren't they just like neighbors? They lived in some commune outside of town.
Again, it's the writing.
Oh man. Okay. Well, the third thing we hate about this movie, Renee, Bella's mom, is kind of the worst. I don't know that the movie really shows this as well. Maybe it makes it worse. I don't know. As somebody who hasn't read the books, what do you think? Because like it sounds like she made Bella feel like she had to go live with her dad in this place that she's not going to like because she likes the sun and she likes being in Phoenix. But like Renee is sad because she wants to go like along on the road with her husband who plays minor league baseball.
Yeah, this is just terrible parenting is what it is. Wait till your kid is, just wait a year till she's out of high school or whatever and just wait and then do that. You can like send her away like on her last year or whatever the fuck and just kind of.
Well, to be fair, she doesn't send her away. Bella chooses to go away, but Bella chooses to go away because she feels like she has no other choice because she knows her mom is sad about being stuck with her, which that might almost be worse than Renee just sending her away. Bella's like, oh, I recognize that my mom doesn't want to be stuck here with me.
Yeah, I personally think that I don't think there should have been a mom in this series to begin with. I think they should have just kept it different. Probably would have made it a little more compelling and like on her backstory. Because again, there's so much writing in this that is too convenient, where it's just like, oh, okay, your mommy doesn't want to be with you, so now you're gonna go with your dad.
Bella is having to be like too self-sacrificing, and it's like, why didn't you just do the Disney thing?
Yep.
Her mom passes away tragically.
That's what I would have done. Is just kill
I mean,
the
I
mom
guess
off,
I guess
know?
the
Like,
end of this movie would have made absolute zero sense if she didn't have a mom, going back to Phoenix, the ballet studio, et cetera, et cetera. There had to have been another way to make that work, where you don't just have like a mom who is, and also like beyond the fact that Bella feels like she has to go live with her dad in a place she does not want to live. And not that she has a problem with her dad. Charlie is great. We'll get into that in a bit. It's more so Bella doesn't want to live there. She wants to stay in Phoenix. She likes the sun. She likes Phoenix, whatever. I don't know why you like Phoenix, but Phoenix specifically, I love a lot of parts of Arizona. Phoenix, not so much. But also then she tries to call her mom, or maybe her mom calls her. I can't remember, but Renee doesn't have a cell phone to talk to Bella because she lost her power cord. I know this is taking place in like, the movie came out in 2008. The book was like 2005, I think, maybe 2004. But you can go buy a fucking, even in 2004, 2005, go to a fucking Radio Shack.
Go to the Radio Shack.
Apple store.
Yeah,
Go
Radio
to
Shacks
Verizon
were
Wireless.
everywhere back then.
Yeah.
You know,
Go
like,
wherever
just
the fuck
do
you're
it.
gonna go. Shit, I got an iPhone from a Radio Shack in I think 2010 or 2011. There is somewhere you can go buy a power cord, but you don't have like, you're using a payphone. It's like deposit 25 cents. What the fuck, man? You can't even talk to your daughter. And in the books, I think Renee is like emailing Bella all the time, and like, why aren't you responding to me? It's like, just fucking call. Maybe Bella doesn't have a cell phone. Call the house.
Yeah.
Call. Just make a fucking phone. I don't. It is like weird, lazy, half-assed, not paying attention parenting. And I mean, honestly, the way Bella talks about her mom is like she was always having to take care of her anyway, always having to find things for her, always having to do things for her. I can't remember if it's only in the books, but there's a thing where Renee forgot to go pick up her dry cleaning, and she's like, I don't know why I don't have this. And Bella's like, well, Mom, you're supposed to pick up your dry cleaning like 5 days ago. You should not be the parent.
No.
Like I said, it's worse in the book, so I might be like conflating things that happen in the book and things that happen in the movie, but
Yeah. Number 4. Edward being rude as fuck, gaslighting, and talking down to Bella.
yeah, when he saves her from the van. I was standing right next to you, Bella. You hit your head. You're confused. In the science class, when he insists on double checking her work.
Yeah.
In science lab. And then like later, I think she's like, how were you able to save me from the van? And he was like, Google adrenaline rush. She's not stupid. People know what adrenaline rushes are, even in ye old 2005 or 2008 or whatever the fuck this movie was supposed to take.
That's the part that I didn't understand about the appeal of Edward in this first movie. Because I'm like, isn't this just kind of borderline just abusive? Why would you associate with a dude like that? Oh, because he's dark and handsome and everything is just like, okay, he's probably going to beat the crap out of you behind closed doors on top of it. I don't know.
I know that's not what he's thinking in his. Well, no, that is what he's thinking in his head, because I forgot. I listened to the audiobook of Midnight Sun out of like sheer sick curiosity earlier this year. And I talked about it on one of our State of the Saga episodes. And I was like, oh no, this makes it worse, because like the whole first several chapters, all he's thinking about is how he could possibly kill her and get away with it. And then he runs away so he doesn't kill her. Okay, fine, good. But he tells her the beach that they're going to, La Push, is crowded, and like that's why he can't go. And it's like, why didn't you just say like, I have plans? Why do you have to lie to her? Because like he says, oh, it's too crowded, and the next scene they cut to is they're at La Push, and it's this fucking empty ass beach. It's the Quaalude beach, and they're not allowed on the tribal land. But why did you say that? Like, you literally could have just said, I can't, I have other things I have to do. Stop. Think a second.
Dumb.
I like your note, intensity intensify.
Yeah, dude, because that's all Edward was, man. It was like everything he did was like, you had to like stare and just be like, and everything, and the way it's filmed and like all this stuff. Bro, like she's just gonna sit next to you for a minute. Just chill the fuck out. Everything about it. It was like, I got a great idea. Let's just take antsy teenagers, but let's just hype them up on fucking steroids and Monster and make them more angsty, you know? And it's just like, dude, okay, look, I'm all about, a little angst. That's fine, man. But this was, you know how like when we do the 90s and noughties, how it's like everything is a caricature of something. You have the nerdy guy and he's the caricature of a nerd, and the jock is the same thing. They're not like real people. That's what they did with Edward in this. They're like, let's get angst, but let's be like a caricature of angst. angst. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know, man. The way he looks at her and the way he just looks at things in general just really gave me the ick, where I was like, oh, hell no, dude.
For someone who hasn't read the books, the point isn't, and you find out in the later movies, and I know you haven't, I don't think you've watched any of the other movies, but the point is her blood is like crack to him. That's why when she walks into the science class and the fan blows her hair, he's like, but
I have a question.
Yes.
If that's true, he doesn't want to go to the beach because there's too many people.
That's
He's
not
a
why,
vampire.
but yes.
That's not why. But sure, you know what I'm saying? I have a great idea. Why are any of them going to high school? Honestly,
Yes.
if that's like a temptation for them, why would they do that? If my problem was like doing coke off of strippers' asses, right? And that was like my like vice, why would I go to the strip club? I would just stay away from it. You have these vampires that are hundreds of years old or 100 years old or whatever, and they're just hanging out in high school. What happens when Edward graduates? Does he go back to 12th grade next year? Oh, okay, graduated, great. And I go back.
So that's actually explained more in the books. They usually matriculate and go on. All the kids, I'm pretty sure, have like several degrees. And then they move to another place. If they were ever to go back to that place, they don't go back for like 50, 60 years. Nobody's going to remember them, that sort of thing. Now, that said, why would you ever go back to high school if you didn't have to? A. B, I will also say this. So they're like the vegetarian vampires, which gets explained. And I'm putting that in hardcore quotes because they eat animals instead of people. And all of them, except for Jasper, actually don't really have a problem with it. It's not until Bella and her like magical smelly blood that Edward, he's killed people before. And I think you see that in some of the later movies, but it's not until Bella that it becomes like my lifestyle might be ending. I can't ignore this person's blood. Like I have to have her. Jasper is the only one who, and that's why Jasper always looks like,
Yeah.
because he is like constantly stressed. So why is Jasper there? Why are you forcing this on him? Why do you keep going?
Exactly.
Stupid. Anyway, we're getting off track, but yes, the Edward, he's just rude, and his, I get the immediate, oh my God, I smell her blood. And I mean, the scene is fucking hilarious. It's stupid looking as fuck the way.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
There was a lot of overacting, and I don't blame that on Robert Pattinson because I've seen him in so many other things now. Like Robert Pattinson is a terrific actor. I think Kristen Stewart is a terrific actor too, but I think that the material they had to work with was,
garbage.
It was what it was. But moving on to our fifth thing we hate, Bella, popular as she apparently is, treats her school friends like shit.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree Jessica is kind of a jerk. Sorry, Anna Kendrick, you're amazing, but the character of Jessica is the worst. And some of the others, like Mike, also not great, but Bella is just not good with them ever.
No.
Always.
No.
She constantly looks and sometimes even outright acts exasperated with them. And how do they not notice?
Yep.
Like, how did that go over their head? And then later she uses Jessica and Angela for a ride to Port Angeles so that she can go to a bookstore, and she basically completely ditches them. And you know that Angela is like, seems like a fucking gem of a person. And you know that she was at least worried about Bella just disappearing like that and ditching them. Like she doesn't even show up for their dinner. Like Edward shows up with her later and it was like, I brought Bella to you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, we missed the dinner. We got distracted. She's not a good friend to literally anybody.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why people would want to hang out with her aside from being like the new person. And I figure that probably would have lasted like a day or two and been like, oh man, this girl's kind of a bitch. And and then vanishing and going to like the bookstore. I don't know, man. That's just kind of a shitty thing to do. Because she definitely did not want to be there for any of them dress sizes and all that shit. She was just like,
she wasn't even paying attention.
No, she's like, oh yeah, dress, that's great. Okay, gotta go. I got this book I have to go get about vampires. I'll be back. And leaves. And then of course, because of the writing, it's so convenient, right? She just happens to be walking down the same place with a bunch of hooligans coming around who are just kind of trying to rough her up or like whatever. I hate this kind of writing, right? This kind of writing is like, you actually see this a lot and most people don't realize. It's in those revenge movies. What's that movie with Liam Neeson? Taken. All that is like a revenge movie. To me, that type of writing is the most laziest writing you can possibly do. They show you situations so you can get upset about it. No one wants to see a girl or Bella get roughed up by a bunch of hoodlums, right? You want to shoot those people in the face. So now you're looking for like the reward here. So who is it? Edward shows up out of nowhere. Clearly he wasn't like following her or GPS tracking her at this point, right? Which is creepy as shit. And the way I see it personally, I'm like, bro, I have a feeling that there's an outtake where Edward is paying these these guys to go rough her up just so he can show up and be the hero. Just be like, oh no, look at how I saved you because I'm so dark and mysterious, you know?
Well,
like,
at that point anyway, because we do find out that he can read minds. He can't read Bella's mind, which is why she's so, another reason why she's so magical and special to him. But the fact of the matter is, he knew she was going there. He went to that city. He was basically looking for her through other people's minds.
well, I must have missed that part.
I don't think they say it so much in the movie. It's not as clear. He does talk about how he can read people's minds, but not hers, like later in Twilight.
Mhm.
But yeah, he loses track of her because she leaves Jessica and Angela, and they're the only people that he knows. Then again, I only know this because I listen to Midnight Sun. I hate my life right now. But I'm glad I also get to explain this to you because like it makes a little more sense. It's still stupid as fuck, but it makes a little more sense. He's like sitting in his car, poking into the minds of every person he can find, and just happens to eventually find the minds of the guys that are like stalking her. And it's like, well, I'm fucking glad I'm glad you did that, I guess. But also weird as fuck that you followed her to the city in the first place and that you were like stalking her through her friends' thoughts. I guess he saved her life or saved her from some bad shit. But
the more I think about it, it's just like, this is just bad.
It's still bad if you've read the books, but it's even worse apparently if you haven't, because the things that you're thinking are even worse than what actually happens. And like, if you don't know what's going on, it's like, how the fuck?
I don't get it. The more I kind of go through it, I'm like, I don't see what the appeal was of this guy, but okay.
He's super hot. And also,
yes, for number 6, we're obviously going to have to talk about Sparklesaurus Rex, okay?
I'm sorry.
Why did they do this, dude? Oh my God.
Generally in vampire lore, I will be honest, I have not seen or read the original Bram Stoker Dracula. I've seen it played out in different ways in Penny Dreadful. I've also seen vampires in so much other media. Preacher, where one of the main characters in that is a vampire and he can like go outside even if it's sunny, but he has to be like completely covered. Like as long as the sun isn't touching his skin, he's fine. And then in True Blood, they aren't even supposed to stay awake during the day. If it's daytime and they are awake, they get the bleeds, like they bleed out of their eyes and or ears, nose, etc., whatever. But in this series, vampires they can be outside during the day. It's totally fine. They just can't be in the sun because if they do, they sparkle.
They sparkle.
They sparkle.
Oh my gosh. Just bear with me here for a minute. I heard that joke about them sparkling, and I'm very used to, at this point, 2008, but I watched the movie much later though. I want to say I watched the movie when like the first 3 were out or something, when I watched the first one, and I was like, oh, this is fucking horrendous. I'm never going back to this ever again. But I was still coming off of that Buffy the Vampire kind of high, to where I felt like those vampires are cooler. Like, yeah, you get in the sun, your ass gets burnt. It's as simple as that. You turn to dust, not glisten like bling, like you're just blinging out here.
There's no danger to them.
There's no danger to it. So it's
other than being found out by people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's why they live in Washington, because it rains like 90% of the time, I guess.
Yeah, Forks is apparently the most overcast / rainy place in the continental US.
At least that made sense writing wise. At least that's like one of the first things. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Also, as bad as the idea of sparkly vampires is, the reveal and how it looks on him are somehow even worse. He steps into the sun and it's like, I don't know, it's like weird magic sparkly, like it's more fairy-ish than anything else. And weirdly enough, I've seen theories that the Twilight vampires are actually fairies. I think there's a thing that happens in the second movie that makes it make more sense. And it's like, okay, yes, they're supposed to be beautiful, but that's also why they have to hide, because they have to be secret, because we can't have the world knowing they're vampires, blah, blah, blah. But it's just, the effects were bad, but also it was like 2008 when this movie came out. So I get it, whatever. But then not to mention, Edward immediately starts showing off how dangerous he is. She's like, you're beautiful. And it's so fucking silly what happens after this. He's like softcore threatening her.
Yeah, softcore threatening her. It would be a good description. Yes, absolutely.
Fine, whatever. Be dazzled by the bling skin, but maybe don't ignore all the rest of the shit he says and does. I'm so strong. I'm so fast. You could never get away from me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but do you have zero danger sense?
Well, you figured after being like alive for that long, if I was doing that, if I was Edward, and then I'm going to show how dangerous I am to a woman, I'd be like, you know, next to the tree all glistening and be like, watch out, baby. I might stay with you for the rest of my life. I might cook you breakfast in the morning. I might hold a job until I'm 80. Be careful, I'm dangerous.
He like rips like a little tree out there and throws it, I think. Like,
yeah, it's just like
so fucking stupid. It's
It's
just
like,
stupid looking. It's stupid looking, and the
look what I
dialogue
can do.
is so. Oh my God, Stuart! Look what
Yeah,
I can do.
look what I can do. Look what I can do. That's what he's
It's just
doing
like,
right there.
yeesh, Bella. Like, how do you ignore all the rest? She's just like, yeah, but you're bling, and also
Oh my
like you're
gosh.
so hot, and also Edward. I don't know. Like, I just
So dangerous.
in real life, I've had guys who I was dating tell me, obviously not dangerous in the sense of like this, ripping
Mhm.
trees out of the ground and unrealistic stuff. But when a person tells you what they are, fucking believe them.
Yes, exactly.
Period. Full stop. Bella, why? I know you saw him bling, and I know that he's been nice. Well, he's been nice to you recently, because that's the other thing. He wasn't nice to her.
No, like
He
at
was like,
all.
oh, you stink. And then like, oh, get away from me. And then like trying to like transfer out of the class they're in together.
Yeah, dude. That's like some level of
Girl.
bipolar that you're just not ready for.
Oh man. But we also have to talk about our seventh thing.
This is going to be
He
the
sees
quickest
you
one.
when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake, but mostly he sees you when you're sleeping. This is fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
He's sneaking into her room and watching her sleep. And then she finds out about it eventually, and she's like, oh, okay.
Great. Perfect. Look, it's cute when you're in a relationship with someone and you wake up before them and you look at them sleep for a few minutes and you're like,
Yeah, of
oh,
course.
that's cute. This is the creeper version of that. Oh, by the way, I hid out in your cabinets while you were taking a shower because I love you. Dude, come on, man.
It's something.
Aren't vampires supposed to be like invited in? Can't they just not just come in to begin with?
Well, yeah, that doesn't exist in this world.
It's a different vampire universe.
This is the easiest life vampires have ever had. And here's the thing, he was doing this, he barely even knew each other. This is before he showed her who he was, before Sparklesaurus Rex, before anything. He was sneaking into her room to watch her sleep.
Yep.
No, that's not okay.
No.
And I agree. Like, if you're with somebody and you wake up in the morning and you roll over and they're still sleeping, and it's like, oh, look at this cute person that I love who's next to me sleeping.
No, this is breaking and entering. No, this is breaking and entering.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? This is very bad vibes.
Breaking and entering, hiding in the shadows, like, ugh, dislike, hate. Anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining Edward hiding behind the shower curtain so he can listen to Bella take a poop in the morning and be like, oh, so I was here the whole time. There's nothing charming about that guy.
He's seen her do literally everything. And I think the whole point is like, but he loves her anyway. Like, he sees her in her t-shirt with holes in it, her sleep sweatpants, and like, it's supposed to be cute. It doesn't sound cute to me. Like, unless I invite you into that shit, I don't want you there.
Yeah, exactly. I
don't think I ever slept over a boyfriend's house when I was in high school. When I first started sleeping over my boyfriend's and other guys in like house or whatever, I didn't even take out my contacts or wash off my makeup. Hell no. You ain't seeing me like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, in my 20s, I stopped caring about that shit. But like when I was like a late teenager, early 20s in college, no. I guess Bella is just that perfect.
Yep. Oh, anyways, as for number 8, sorry, not sorry, but we have to say it. Y'all have known each other for like 5 minutes. Calm the fuck down. You just met each other 5 minutes ago.
I get it. It's high school. We all thought we were in love in high school, but I don't know if I ever thought I was in love like this. One of the voiceover things that Bella says is, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. At that point, she had spent next to no time with this guy. When I was in high school, I think I would date a guy for like a month before he told me he loved me. Back then, after a month, you're like, yeah, I'm in love with you. Sure, whatever. You're in high school. I get it. Been there. But unconditionally and irrevocably in love. And then also, again, she had spent this wasn't the guys that told me they were in love with me. We had been seeing each other at school every day, hanging out at school every day, eating lunch at school every day, going out after school. It still wasn't really in love. It was way fucking more time than she'd spent with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, bad writing. They only had a certain amount of time to get this going. They had 2 hours. There's no build up here.
They have a whole book, but it doesn't matter because the whole book takes place over the course of like a couple months. I don't even know if it's that long. It might be shorter.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a very short amount of time. And like at one point, Edward is like, Bella, you are my life now. Again, y'all have known each other for like 5 minutes. You like the smell of her blood. You can't read her mind, so you don't know her as a person. Like, if you could read her mind, that would actually kind of be even worse, but you don't know her. Okay, you're in high school, fine, whatever. Well, Bella, I will say. You're in high school. Edward, you have been alive for 100 years or almost 100 years
Yeah,
at this point.
exactly. 90 years, I think it would have came out to. I think it's about 90 years he's been.
Well, I think he was born in 1901, so he's actually a little
Okay,
over
yeah.
100 years
So
old. He was turned into a
107 years
vampire
old.
in like 1918 when he
Yeah,
was
that's
like
what it was,
17.
yeah.
Toward the end of the movie, Edward is like, we have to be apart. I can't be with you, blah, blah. And she's like, if you leave me, I'll die. I'll die.
Girl, put those fucking pants back on. He's a piece of shit anyway. Seriously, snuck into your house. He broke into your house so he can watch you sleep.
And then she also says, like, I dream about being with you forever. Girl, you are 17. Stop it. I will say, as I don't know if you felt this way about people when you were in high school, but I had one high school relationship. I mean, I had several high school relationships, but one that was like the one where I was like, I want to be with this guy forever. I am so in love with him because it's the first love. And you think it's the only one you'll ever have. Even 3 or 4 years later, I looked back on it and I was like, yeah. Not that he was a bad person necessarily or anything, but what was I basing this on? We had very little in common. We were children. I didn't know how love felt. I don't think anybody fucking knows what they want in a relationship until I would say mid-20s would be the extreme earliest that I think it's safe to say this might be forever. But I honestly would really say that the vast majority of people change so much in their 20s and early 30s that just do not. Yeah. And I get it. This is a YA fantasy written by somebody who is practicing abstinence porn, because that's the other thing. They haven't had sex. They start making out and Edward is like, no. He flies to the other side of the room.
He's like, no. Cringy ass cringe, man.
Moving on to number 9, no one deserves Charlie Swan, especially Bella. Bella's dad fucking loves her. I think that his life got upended, and we find out because when Bella leaves because she's being chased by James, she uses the wording her mom used when her mom Renee left Charlie, and it's very fucking nasty. It's like, I won't want to stay here in Forks. This is a life for losers. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but like, this is a life for losers. Fuck you, essentially. Charlie loves his daughter. I don't know if the movie shows it as well as the book does, but this is a dad who had his daughter and Bella was taken from him by Renee. And all he wants is to keep her safe and not in a creepy way. I don't know. I fucking love Charlie. She shows up and he's bought her this like old ass truck, and he somehow knew that she would love this stupid old ass truck. Bella also acts about as exasperated with Charlie as she does with her school friends. But even worse, like I said, is the shit that she pulls when she's being tracked by James and is about to run away. And she talks like mad, nasty shit to her dad. And listen, ACAB, but also like Charlie is not that person. He is just a dude living in a small town, trying to do his best. And he's been dealing with these like weird attacks, and like his friends have been dying.
Well, because I can tell you right now, he's not a cop. He's a lawman.
Yeah.
It's very different.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
He's a lawman. So yes, ACAB, yes, for sure. But he's not a cop. Lawman. Very different.
Okay. Yep. I agree with that. But also he's good at what he does. He's trying at what he does. Everybody in the fucking town loves him. He loves Carlisle. You can tell he fucking loves Carlisle. They have like this we're buds relationship. And then Bella, he loves her so fucking much. And I don't think anybody gives Charlie enough credit. And Bella certainly doesn't give him enough credit. Well, okay, that's not really fair. I think she knows he loves her, but to know your parent loves you like that and to treat them the way she does, I know she feels like she has to, but like, listen, girl, this is mostly your fault because you were like lying to him about being with Edward and lying to him about where you were going all this time. Why were you lying to him? Just tell him the fucking truth. He seems like a cool fucking dad.
He does, exactly.
I hate it because I feel Charlie Swan deserves better.
Yeah, agreed.
He deserves better than the way he was treated by Bella, and he sure as hell did not deserve the way he was apparently treated by her mom. Then we go back to Renee is the worst, but yeah, nobody deserves him. I have nothing bad to say about Charlie.
No, and it's really funny because you see like this type of dad parental figure where they love their kids so much, but they don't know how to express love affectionately. So you see him doing things. Oh, I bought you new tires for the car, or this was the truck I bought for you. That is something that I can relate to a lot when I was younger and I first had kids. My kids first started becoming teenagers. I didn't know how to demonstrate affectionate love. So I was like that kind of dad. I liked him, and I liked his character. And yeah, Bella treated him like shit.
I think real growing up is realizing that Edward is not the guy. Charlie
Yeah.
is the guy. I would marry Charlie Swan in a fucking second. And I don't care that he wants to watch baseball. I like baseball too. Charlie, marry me. And last, but certainly not least, our 10th thing we hate is how the fuck do Bella's parents believe the bullshit story they are fed about Bella's injuries in Phoenix?
Yep.
Okay, we get that she's clumsy. We get it. She's clumsy, but I don't know. I would not believe this shit. Would you, Manny? As a
No,
father?
she literally like punctured an artery in her leg and be like, oh, you fell down and then fell through some glass. I'd be like, where's your boyfriend at? Because now he's going to go through glass, because that's what I would have thought. Oh, okay. The way I look at it is your boyfriend pushed you down them stairs. Someone's going to pay the price for this. But no, not because you're clumsy. There are clumsy people, but that is not, no, I wouldn't have believed that for a fucking second.
How the fuck hard did you fly through that window?
Well, and that's where I would have been like,
a hotel window? Like a hotel stairwell window? Is it like triple pane glass? That shit is not breakable.
No, it's not.
Unless you're
for liability reasons.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, how did they believe this?
I mean, literally, she comes home beat up and cut up, and literally the excuse is she fell down the stairs. Okay, can we not get any more cliche than this? That's why I would have thought, oh, really, you fell down the stairs? Where's your boyfriend at so I can behead him? That's where I would be going.
I don't think there's much else to be said about this. It's nonsense. It's insane that they believe this.
Convenient writing, man. That's all it is. That's what this entire movie is about. Just convenient writing. Now that we've gone through, all of that, it's time to talk about our bling sites. Any personal insights we gleaned while watching Twilight? Again, going back to where I start off with, yes, I took a shit on this movie, but I would have liked it when I was 16 years old.
Oh, I'm sure I would too.
Yeah, and especially the fact that it's like a series and kind of like an ongoing thing, I would have been into it. I'm not taking shit on the actors or anything like that. They all did a great job with what they had to work with. They all did great. There was a weird similarity here where I can see, so there is this video game that's called Life is Strange, and a huge fan of that video game, right? It's pretty much like a point and click adventure in essence. And I noticed that this movie really started off in that same type of vein, same pacing, same type of writing, even the music, it's got that indie music going on. It's pretty much Bella on her own, stranger in a strange land kind of feel. And that's exactly how this game played out. Both of them take place in Washington. They all deal with some sense of supernatural. The game touts that it's inspired from Twin Peaks, which it is. I can see that. But when I watched this, I was like, no, I think this was kind of an inspiration also. Just the first part of the movie, not all the weird stuff. I don't think I got anything else. No, I think by the time I got to the document here, I was so tired thinking about the movie that I couldn't really think of any.
So I got a few. I know cosplayers who would not consider themselves professionals whose wigs look so much better than Jacob's does.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah.
It's okay. He cuts his hair. For the second movie. Or it cuts his hair. It's his real hair. I will say, not I hate to admit it, but Bella is kind of funny. She has quips.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it reminds me a little bit of me in the things that she says sometimes. And I'm like, I enjoy that. When the other vampires show up, Laurent and James, Sniffy James. It's sniffing. That was another thing I was going to mention, but also I'm just mentioning it here. His fucking sniffing is so dumb and weird. But Laurent, James, and Victoria, and Laurent, I was like, why does he look so familiar? I hadn't watched this movie in so long. And I had just recently rewatched For All Mankind, and he's played by the same actor who plays Deviasa in For All Mankind. He's like one of the main characters in the last couple seasons for sure. So I was like, oh, that's why he looks so familiar. And also, he has not aged at fucking all. Good for him. Oh, also, Jesus. As somebody who drives a stick shift,
Oh yeah.
Bella gets in that truck that her dad buys her, and Jacob is like, yeah, I helped fix it up. And like, you just, you got to double pump the clutch when you shift in this old ass truck. I'm sorry. Are we just supposed to believe that this 17-year-old girl from Phoenix, Arizona knows how to drive a stick shift? And on top of that, doesn't need any sort of special, like Jacob is just like, yeah, just double pump the clutch and you'll be fine. Sorry. The oldest car I've driven was a 67 Volkswagen Beetle. So I've driven some old ass fucking stick shifts. This is not
It's never
common.
anything. No.
Like driving a stick shift, period, in the early 2000s is not common.
No.
But also this old, I'm sorry. I feel like this is inserted as like a she's not like other girls thing. And I fucking, as somebody who like actually just enjoys driving a stick shift and thinks it's the safest way to drive, I think this is fucking bullshit.
Same. I've driven many of stick shifts. I am a stick shift connoisseur. I have never had that.
No, even the 67 Bug I drove, there was a double, I know it exists, right? But so she knew how to drive a stick shift and somehow also was immediately able to drive this truck with this double pump clutch thing? No, not happening. Because also, okay, you can drive one stick shift, but that doesn't mean you can drive every stick shift immediately.
Every stick shift is completely different.
Unless it's the same exact model.
Yeah. When I had bought that 2017 Nissan Versa back in the day, I bought it in 2017 or whatever, and it was a stick shift. And I stalled it out 3 or 4 times getting it home because it's totally different. Every stick shift is completely different. I think people who don't drive stick shift don't know, but people who do know that the distance of the clutch is different in every single fucking car, and trying to gauge it takes practice.
Yep. Oh God. Spider Monkey. LOL.
Oh God, yeah. Hold on, Spider Monkey.
I also don't understand why Edward had to be the one to suck the venom from Bella.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I mean,
that Carlisle's thing, like, isn't he the doctor who's done crazy shit all his life? When he knows Bella's blood is like crack to Edward, it doesn't make sense. And then last but not least, Victoria just being at their prom and no one noticing.
Yeah, no one saw that. She just showed up.
This hot, clearly in her 20s lady, and she's just like, I'm just down the stairs stalking them, whatever. Like, what? Nobody noticed this? Who is this bitch? My prom, we had tickets. You couldn't get in without tickets.
No. And wouldn't one of them be able to read the other's mind or feel them or some shit? I just feel like they would have been able to, like, hey, wait a minute.
Edward,
there's
especially.
danger
He
here.
was right
Exactly.
There. Makes no sense.
It makes no sense to me. But wow, I can't wait for the rest of these movies now. So at least now I can get an ending to this fucking story.
Okay, so what are we going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 sparkle dolls?
Okay, so I have 2 ratings for this.
Okay.
There's going to be 2 ratings. 16-year-old Manny would give it a solid 8 out of 10. So that way he knows that there's more of a story that's going to unfold here. So he is very excited to like see it. Now, adult Manny would probably give this like a 4 out of 10 because there's things that I see that they're doing that I can like, okay, I get what you're doing. I feel like the concept itself is not horrible. I don't feel like it should have been written by the author. Or what should have happened is this should have been one of those cases where the Hollywood execs took over and made it better to where they're like, okay, you're writing this kind of lame, but we're going to take it in. We're going to make changes to make it a better written story. Because there are times when it's okay for the book to be much different than the movie. Starship Troopers, Blade Runner, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's okay for the movies to diverge a lot from the book, but make it better in a sense. They also did that with Fight Club a bit and stuff like that to where the movie actually was really good and it's different from the book. So if you read the book, it's the same kind of concept, but you're still getting something different. This should have been one of those cases where that happened because they could have done something better with it. Because again, I'm not going to take a shit on the concept. I think the concept is actually pretty good. I just feel like the writing didn't match the cinematography and the amount of budget that they put into it.
This movie was more of an indie type film than the later movies are. So that is something to keep in mind. Gosh, it's hard for me. Sparkle Dolls, what would I give it? I will say this. When I first saw it in the theaters, I would have given it like a 1 or a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think now that I've rewatched it, I'll give it like a 4.
Yeah.
It's bad. Okay. And when I say that, I'm giving the movie a 4.
Yes.
That doesn't mean I give the story that.
Yes.
What I'm giving is I think that there are things about the movie that are I know people hate on the weird Twilight blue filter. It's the worst in this movie. But I also think, like I said, they're trying to, also the soundtrack. The soundtrack is fucking great.
Oh, the soundtrack's fantastic.
Give me Muse every day
Yeah.
of the week. Old Muse, not before they sold out Muse.
I love Muse, yeah.
And I also think that, and I know like Robert Pattinson, he like shits on his involvement in these movies and stuff. And Kristen Stewart has moved on or whatever. But I think I'd give it a 4 out of 10 Sparkle Dolls. I feel like I want it to be worse.
I want it to, but there's
so much about it. But what I'm focusing on is the good stuff. Because
that's the thing. It's the averages, right? If we went by writing, yes, it would be like a fucking 0. However, had good music. Cinematography was fucking good. I liked all the actors. They just did the best that they could do with what they had to work with. That averages to where it's like, okay, that's why I gave it a 4.
Love me some Charlie Swan.
There you go. You see?
I do. Even with the mustache. And I'm not a mustache person.
I think Alice was more my jam in this
one.
You know,
Alice
she
is
definitely
great.
Yeah.
Alice is great, although she does eventually treat Bella like she's like a purse dog.
Nice.
You'll see that in the movie.
Last but not least, what is your watch, read, play, please anything but this suggestion for the episode?
I have to parse out my suggestions for this one. It's going to be True Blood. That show goes off the rails so fucking hard. It really does. But at the same time, it is so good. It is it is stupid at times, but it is so fucking good. Watch True Blood. And oh God, especially the early seasons and Alexander Skarsgård. Oof. I guess I should not Alexander. Well, I mean, yes, also Alexander Skarsgård, but very particularly Eric Northman.
Yeah, yes.
In True Blood, yes. I'm staring off into space just thinking about it.
Just dreaming about it. I have 2 for this one. Number 1, go watch Underworld, the Underworld series. Much more intriguing than this. Now, again, it's kind of unfair because that is more of an adult genre than this movie. So it's apples and oranges kind of situation, you know? The next one is going to be don't watch Twilight, watch Firelight, which is the SNL parody with Taylor Swift. And instead of vampires, it's Frankenstein.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh my God. I'm immediately going to go look for that.
It's
like
old.
Maybe I have, but I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's like super old. It came out around the same time when she was on SNL and they did it. And I was like, this is way better of a movie than Twilight. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I'm immediately going to go look for that. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our first media that made us cringe. Episode on Twilight. Make sure to check out our other Geek Saga show series, including Media That Made Us, 90s and Naughties, Cringe Factor, the Impulsive Hyper-Focus solo episodes, and more. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, or rate us 5 stars wherever you're watching or listening. And as always, please also consider supporting us by backing our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.